Hi, I'm Jonathan Tessier, and welcome back to our Health Week series where we're talking to our nutritionist, Rebecca, about some of the products we sell here at Joanne's Place. So today, we're going to be talking about diet and nutrition. So how are you doing today, Rebecca?
I'm good, Jonathan. I'm here to talk about one of my favorite things, diet and nutrition. So yeah, it's a good day.
For sure. So let's start it off easy. What does a healthy, balanced diet look like, and why is it so important?
I wish that was easy. I really do, but I'll tell you my opinion and we'll leave all the other complicated stuff kind of out of it. I would say, a healthy diet is diverse and a healthy diet is mindful, and the mindfulness is maybe where we're going to kind of start here. So what's really important is your digestion, and I mean digestion, literally speaking begins in the mouth, but really it can begin here and in your eyes. So what's really important about your healthy diet to set the foundation is what kind of state are you in when you're eating, and we won't go all the way into that, but that's just something to be mindful of. If you're in a really stressed state when you're eating, you're not digesting things very well. You might not feel as well after you're eating, so that's really important to consider as well. But with that said, a healthy diet being diverse and mindful, the diversity piece is really a healthy diet as a variety of whole foods ideally. Fermented foods are important here as well, and eating the rainbow is something I also like to talk about. So there's lots of different kind of ways we can talk about looking at it. We can talk about our plate. So, in terms of a plate, what I like to kind of guide people through is maybe half of your plate being your veggies, a quarter of your plate being your more starchy, so maybe your rice or your pasta or something like that. The other quarter of your plate being your protein. And then maybe we're adding a small amount of healthy fats in there and a small amount of fermented foods in there too. So if we're looking at a plate, that's kind of how you can build your plate. But another fun way to do it is just to eat the rainbow. So that's where you're going to get that diversity. So when you're looking at different colors, you're also looking at different vitamins and minerals and nutrients in your food. So I like to kind of talk about that as well. Prioritizing meal times is something to consider here as well. I think we're all so busy. I know that's something I struggle with. A lot of times I get into my day and I'm looking, why am I feeling so off or anxious or tired? Oh, I haven't eaten. So that's really something to consider as well.
How does our diet affect our energy and focus throughout the day?
Yeah, so that's a big one. So like I kind of said in the last question, meal times are going to be really important here. We can often forget to eat. Sometimes it takes, putting those reminders in your phone, an alarm that's going to go off at those times. So that's going to be really important as well. But something to consider when we're talking about energy and focus is blood sugar. That's going to be a really big piece. So when our blood sugar is low, our energy and our focus is going to be really low too. So things to kind of think about here is, like I said, your regular meal times, but also what are you eating? If you're eating something really high in carbohydrates and sugars, your blood sugar is going to spike and it's going to plummet and you're not going to feel so good. So incorporating things like fat, fiber, and protein is really important in your meals. That's going to keep you feeling more full, but it's also going to lessen that blood sugar spike and then fall so that you stay feeling better.
Now that we're entering cold season, that means people are more likely to get sick. How can we prevent that by buying some foods?
So fermented foods are important. Again, I gotta go back to eating the rainbow. Then you're getting that diversity of nutrients. So you're getting a little more vitamin C or zinc and all those kinds of things that are gonna help our immune system. Sugar is a really important thing to factor in here too. Sugar suppresses the immune system. So, being mindful of how much we're consuming. And this is where, sugary foods are plentiful as well. So, but we'll get a little further down and we'll talk about kind of how to set yourself up for success during these times. Warming foods are going to be important here too. This is more of maybe like an Eastern kind of philosophy. If you're thinking about Ayurvedic medicine or traditional Chinese medicine, those warming foods are really important too. It takes our body a lot to kind of heat these foods up. So things like bone broth, teas, green tea is really high in flavonoids, which is going to be great for your immune system as well. Ginger and turmeric are really warming foods, so adding those kinds of things to your cooking. Broccoli is really high in vitamin A, C, and vitamin E, and lots of antioxidants as well. Garlic is a really good food to eat this time of year too. But I would say, be mindful of your sugar consumption. Be mindful of, the amount of commitments you're making. eat warming foods and kind of eat a diversity of whole foods is going to be really helpful immune-wise as well.
Can the food we eat help with our mental health, and if so, how?
Yeah, certainly it can. I think sometimes a missed factor in our mental health, right? So again, we're talking about eating the rainbow is going to mean, you're getting that diverse amount of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, because nutrient deficiencies can often be connected to kind of mental health issues. Our last video we talked about magnesium and its impact on mental health. So that's just one mineral. Imagine the other kind of vitamins and minerals roles. So, so certainly, eating the rainbow, eating a diverse range of foods is going to help with those nutrient deficiencies.
If someone is trying to lose weight, what are some healthy ways to go about it without feeling like they're starving themselves?
Yeah, the great question. The first thing I will say here is self-compassion is going to be really important when you're making changes like this. They are not easy changes to make. We can look at what someone else is doing or somebody's diet advice and have this checklist of things that we want to do, but that self-compassion is going to be the biggest thing. You're gonna fall off the wagon, and if we were on our way to somewhere in a wagon, say, and we fall off the wagon, are we gonna turn around and go home? No, we're probably gonna get back on and we're gonna keep going. So I think we forget that, you don't have to start again. It's not starting again. It's I'm just gonna keep going. Expect that you're gonna misstep. Our society can be so perfectionist-y, I guess, if you will, and just expect you're gonna misstep. So that mindset piece, I think, is paramount. But also there are things that we can do with our food to help it be a little bit easier. So including, fat, fiber, and protein with your meals is really important. Again, those are satiating foods. So, when we eat something really high in carbs, it's processed quite quickly, where fat, fiber, and protein can slow that down a little bit, make us feel more full, and then we're a little bit more in control of these things.
So on that point, what are some good snack ideas that are both healthy and filling?
And filling, yeah, absolutely. So I've got some examples here. So trail mix is a nice, that's rice, but trail mix is a nice way to go with something like that. I'm thinking of more convenient things because a lot of us are on the go. So trail mix paired with some fruit, just nuts and seeds in general, paired with a piece of fruit is a great way to go for a snack. Protein bars are another great way to go. One of my favorite, on-the-go snacks to have is midday squares. Have you ever had these before?
I have. They're really good.
They're really good. Yeah. So, prioritizing whole foods, but also being realistic and maybe choosing, processed foods that are less processed, and that's midday squares is one of those, and it's got a good balance of fat, fiber, and protein as well.
If someone feels tired all the time, could their diet be part of the problem, and what should they look at changing?
Yeah, certainly. And I think diet is a good place to start. Sometimes it can take a little while to get into our doctor and get our blood work done and, figure out what things are going on. Diet's a really great and accessible place to start for the most part. So we like to make things pretty complicated as well, and diet, we can make some really simple steps. So to start, did you have breakfast today, or did you crawl out of bed straight to the coffee machine? Thinking about that. So maybe we're adding in a glass of water before we have our coffee, and then prioritizing our breakfast as well. How much water are you drinking? Just something as simple as that. Aiming for about 2 to 3 liters of water per day. Everyone's going to be different there, but how much water are you drinking? Are you hydrated? Or again, are you just coffee because you're feeling tired and you think that's going to help? It helps in the short term, but not in the long term. Are you getting enough protein in general? If we're eating really carby foods, again, we're going to spike, we're going to fall, and then we're going to fall into the same pattern again. So are you eating enough protein? Are you eating enough fruits and veggies? That kind of thing. So just, maybe just first take inventory, and then, identify what small changes that you kind of want to make. But yeah, absolutely. I think those are some small but actionable things to do. Yeah.
So what are some common mistakes people make when trying to eat healthy, and how can they avoid them?
Yeah. We really like to overcomplicate things, and we expect too much too fast. Again, that perfectionism, right? We think starting tomorrow I'm going to change my water, I'm going to, have all my meal times, I'm going to eat all my protein and and then we get to day 3. It's not sustainable. And then we kind of give up. We decided we've fallen off the wagon, we're going back home. So I think overcomplicating things and expecting too much, slow and steady wins the race here. keeping it simple. So maybe your first couple things are, I'm going to start increasing my water intake and I'm going to eat breakfast, and that is it. And forgiving yourself when on day 3 or 4 you didn't leave enough time in the morning to eat breakfast and you forgot to pack your water bottle. And then keeping going on it, right? And we often think we need to be kind of really hard on ourselves in order to make this change, but research on self-compassion shows that really that's not what's going to get you far. Set your goals, but really be kind to yourself when you misstep. And then there's some, simple, I just wanted to share like some simple habit ideas that people can kind of get started. So one of the more fun ones that I like is trying to eat 30 different plants in a week, and you'd probably be surprised. I mean, if you have a smoothie or any kind of like a rice bowl, or you'd be surprised with the amount of plants you're already getting in your food. So 30 might sound like a lot, but it really isn't that much, and it's kind of a fun way to try new foods. Maybe that's one. So eating 30 different plants each week, 500 milliliters of water before coffee. Choose one meal that you're going to schedule, or choose one meal that you're going to eat mindfully. You're no TV, no phone, it's just you and your plate. That seems radical, but a really good idea. Or maybe, a daily water goal, daily protein goal, or a veggie serving goal. So just really simple kind of habit and ideas to start can go a really long way, and those subtle changes can have really big impacts.
Absolutely. So it sounds like there's a lot of work we can put in, and there's a lot of resources we have here at Joanne's Place Health Foods that people can come in, and our nutritionist will educate you on everything you need to know. So thank you, Rebecca, and that's going to do it for our video today, but make sure to stay tuned. We'll have a lot more coming soon.
Thanks, Jonathan.